Oh my, it's Kellee White.
Hey, it's James Van Pod.
What are you up to?
Thinking about changing the world.
Me too. We should do a show together.
What would it be about?
Let me show you.
The James and Kellee Show.
Hello, Kellee.
Hi, James. How are you today?
Cherish the moment.
Cherish this moment.
Because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring or the next 5 minutes.
No, you don't.
Wow.
A lot going on.
Yes, and we match again. Our colors
We match again. Well, this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, lots going on, eh? Lots going on.
Lots going on.
4
yeah.
planets retrograde and the fifth one coming up.
The fifth one coming up. So we have Uranus going to be retrograde in Taurus on August 19th. Now, let me just explain what that means. So when Uranus is one of the slowest moving planets, and it's so slow that it kind of hovers about. And when an energy like that with Uranus, which is complete breakdowns of situations and of things, and explosions, and when that energy hovers about it with that intensity, it actually shakes up the old order of things. And it's in Taurus, so it's going to bring what I'm going to say is like an evolution in human consciousness or in human history. And so, for instance, today the fall of Afghanistan happened. We had an earthquake in Haiti. And this is that energy that's kind of just not even stationed yet. So I would say, expect some real big unexpected things.
Earthquakes. I keep on getting earthquakes.
No, well, for sure earthquakes, but I'll tell you something interesting. If you have Uranus in your chart, if you have that kind of, if you have air in your chart, you're going to love the change. But if you are a fixed, or if you are an earth
or fire,
you're not going to like this energy. It's going to be real interesting to see how we all handle the changes that come up for people, because this is going to be intense. And that's not enough. I mean, there's another situation too. We have on August 22nd, which I know where I'll be, the sun enters Virgo. So that's going to be a great thing. But there's also on that same day a full moon in Aquarius. So you take that
with you, so that'll be great.
That's correct. We'll be changing the world.
I think. Not sure yet about your Kellee. Every time I talk to her, it's a disaster.
But we always make it through.
How can you think that Kellee? She's such a disaster. I say, well, that's the way things are.
She's just it.
Reaper astrology.
Grim Reaper astrology. So funny. So these are the things that are going on right now. Enjoy the ride. There'll be a lot of changes.
I want to be like Bugs Bunny and dig a hole and just stay in that, because I feel like I just got to get in the hole and stay. I just want to be stabilized, right?
Yeah.
Just stable.
Just stable. No, I totally understand. My
gosh.
gosh.
It's hard for everyone, and surprises, and like, boom, something happens very surprisingly and shockingly very fast in past several days, weeks. And we're looking forward to more of that.
Yes, exactly.
So tonight we have a very special guest on our show who I just met for the very first time, and he's lovely. And Kellee, you have
yes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about our special guest. His name is Harry T. He's an internationally acclaimed, award-winning celebrity psychic, medium, television personality, spiritual teacher, speaker, and author. He's one of the top psychics in the world and is globally recognized as a psychic to the stars. He has advised A-list celebrities, royalty, heads of states, politicians, media moguls, corporate CEOs, tycoons, law enforcement agencies, and government officials.
We need names.
Yeah. Well, we could ask. And he's a household name in Australia. So let's welcome Harry T.
Harry T. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Harry.
Hi, guys. Good morning from Melbourne.
Oh, my gosh.
What time is it in Melbourne right now?
It is 11:05 a.m. Tuesday morning, so I'm literally coming to you from the future.
What does it look like?
I know. Well, listen, if you want to know, don't ask, actually.
See? And
Harry, what does T stand for, Harry T?
It's my surname. So my surname is actually Tourlegien.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite long. So I'm half Lebanese, half Armenian, and all my life, people struggled with my surname. So when I started sort of doing public work, nobody could pronounce it or spell it. So everyone was just like, "Look, can you just be Harry T? Because no one can say your name." So it's just been Harry T for, I mean, the last, I think, 12 years, I think, since, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Kellee, you mind if I just jump in? Because
No, jump.
So, how did you get started? What's your background? Tell us all about it.
Okay, well, it's a good question. So, like you guys, I'm sure, I was born this way. So for me, it was all my life. I knew nothing different. My earliest memories are from about 3 years old. I remember seeing people who were not physically there, but I thought that they were physically there, like they were alive. I could almost touch them. They were like 3-dimensional and they were full-blown color. I could see them like I could see people that were in the room. So it was something that was always in my life. And I would say things that I couldn't possibly know as a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. Like I would know the future. So I was born literally both psychic and medium. So it was my whole life. My parents really struggled with it.
Yeah, let me ask you about your parents. What they think?
Yeah.
You think you're crazy, or what was going on?
Well, at the beginning, I think so.
Yeah.
My mother passed away when I was 14. But before she passed, she was quite religious. She was a Sunday school teacher, and she was like saint-like. She was an amazing. If I could be half the person my mother was, like, I've done my job in this world. So she was amazing. But I think she was just worried that, like, you know, the evil would get me because you know, in the Bible, prophets and mediumship and all of that existed, but there was a bit of, you know, almost twisted scripture in it. So I think my mother was just more concerned that, you know, my innocence would be tainted from my gift. My father, on the other hand, total atheist, still is in many ways, but I love him to bits because he knows me more than anyone, and he knows that it's there. He just doesn't understand it. But he actually shipped me off to live with his parents when I was 5 because it runs in his family.
Oh, wow.
Which is ironic. So although he wanted to deny the gift, it's in his family. So most of my father's side actually live in Los Angeles. So that's probably why I've always been there as well. So my father's family are in California, the majority of them. How ironic, right? And he called his aunt and said, "I think my son needs an exorcism." Yeah, true story. And I was 5 years old, and she was like, "Listen, your mum lives closer to you than me, like obviously around the corner in Melbourne. Just get him to live with her for a bit, and she'll teach him about prayer, and she'll teach him about how to protecting himself from negative energies." So I was this 5-year-old kid who lived with my grandparents, and I was praying every day and night. And that really helped me to, I suppose, not only develop my gift, but protect my energy, you know? And then when my mother passed away when I was 14, the rest is history, because I knew that there was more to life and I had this gift. I knew that my mum was still with me. So I remember walking into a metaphysical bookstore and the owner just looked at me and she said, "You're very special." And then I said, "Oh, really?" And then she gave me this book. I can't remember the name. And I opened it up and it was about mediumship. And then I was like,
Talking to Heaven was probably the name of it.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
I might have been. Well, James, really, you know, because of you, James, people like myself can do what we do, you know, because although it's been, I mean, you know, for 32 years I've done this, you know, you are obviously older than I am and you've done this before I did it. So, you know, people like myself really owe credit to you because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for you.
Completely.
And that's true. You know, a lot of people like that become well known, and I'm quite well known here in Australia. I think they forget it wasn't an easy journey for people before us, you know. Like now we're like, you know, I'm on national television all the time on the Today Show here. But before that, people like James are out there, you know, putting his neck out. You know, so it's thanks to him that people like me are even considered to be on television.
Well, thank you.
So true.
It's true. It's the truth. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any siblings at all? Or
I do. So I'm the oldest of 2 three children. So I've got two sisters. So I'm the oldest of three, and I love them to bits. They're very
special.
special.
Do they do psychic work at all, or mediumship, or
no? So one is in pharmacy, and the other one works for government. And they're very special. We're all very different, and I think if there was another me in the family, it wouldn't work. I think we'd kill each other.
And when did you get to, like, did you do formal training or just development circles, or how did you get involved with mediumship?
I never ever took a class. I never sat in it. It just came so naturally to me because, the only thing that I needed to know is the name. I just didn't know that the name was psychic or the name was medium. I just could do it. It was almost like breathing. I could breathe, but pretend you didn't know it was called breathing. So it's like that. It was so natural to me. And I gave readings as a teenager, not knowing that I was even given readings. Like, it was like I would tell people what I could see. Right. So I could see things, literally see them. And when I was 14 years old and 9 months, so after my mum passed away, I went and got a job straight away. So I was going to school and I was working part-time after school in like the local bakery because, like, my family, like we came from very humble beginnings and my father was a single father. Like, we needed to do things. So I worked when I was 14 and 9 months and I went to school. So I went to school and at 4 p.m. I would work in this local bakery. And when I would touch customers' hands, like, and take their money, this was before FPOS machines and cards, right. I would say things to them like, oh, you've got such a beautiful voice, you should keep singing. And they would look at me like, how do you know that I want to be a singer? Like, random things like that. But I didn't know it was anything, like, I didn't know it was coming through, I was getting this. But from then, and then they started to say, oh, can we see you, like, after you? It was weird, but it was a thing. And I will never forget my first reading I did at my house. My father and sisters, I asked them if they would leave the house because I didn't want these strangers that were my customers to come to their house and see my family. So I said to them, can you please leave and just let this old lady come over? She's really lovely. And yeah, true. This is a true story. My dad tells everyone my first reading for a stranger began in our kitchen. I was like 15. And so they left the house and my dad circled the block. I said to him, I'll just be 10 minutes. An hour and a half later, he's still circling the block. And this lady, she came to me, her husband had passed. And I was giving her messages from him. Again, I didn't know that it was called a reading. I was just telling her what I could see and hear. And I think she gave me $2 or something like that. I can't remember. And then my father came home and he said, oh, how did you go? And I said, good. I think I really helped her. And he said, I think you need to, talk to more people about this. So then I went to a bookstore and found a book. And it said, and then the rest is history. I've done it ever since. Yeah.
And let me ask you, on your, like, the TV shows that you do, your national television, do you do psychic readings or mediumship readings, or how does that work?
That's a great question. So I think television prefers psychic work in Australia because they love predictions, especially like daytime television, which is what I'm always on. They love celebrity talk and royal talk and making predictions about the world and all of that. So we predominantly talk predictions. But at the beginning, I think I had to prove myself, so I would give live readings for viewers and it would be both the psychic readings and the mediumship readings because, to be on the Today Show as a psychic medium, as a resident, like as a regular, that's putting their neck on the line, sort of, because it's, it's mainstream. It's not spiritual conversation. Right. So I sort of literally had to prove myself, and I did, but not because I wanted to be famous. I didn't really care about that. I just thought, you know what, getting the message out there, just getting the messages out there to the masses helps, especially, the world that we live in. I mean, even pre-COVID, it wasn't that great. Now with COVID, it's even worse. And guys, I've always really wanted to help people, and I think God gave me this gift to help people. And I always say, if I never did another reading, I would still have this gift. I was born this way, and I will die this way. So it's not something I ever wanted. Like, there's a lot of people out there that sort of want to be a medium, or they want to be well known, or they want to be rich. I don't care about any of that.
It's such a bad way to get into this work. I've had many students who say, I want to be a TV show. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
I didn't want it. I didn't want any of that. They found me. I didn't seek it. They came to me.
Exactly.
Let the spirit world take care of that.
Totally. And guys, like I'm a pretty private person, and although I'm really out there and bubbly, like I'm a Gemini, so I've got another side to me. Like I live by myself. I have a pretty quiet life. Like I like all of that,
Oh,
Yeah.
we know.
I was very similar to you, James.
Similar to me. I live by myself, and I close like the gate. I have my driveway, and goodbye.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like the quiet. I really do. For
Me
years
too.
traveling, I like the quiet. It's good to get solace. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Wow. And so tell us, you came up with these cards. Tell us about these cards. This is very exciting.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you, James. The Energies of the Soul Oracle cards. So these are my own Oracle cards that I designed. So during COVID, in Melbourne, we've had the world's strictest lockdown, right? So we're still in it. So we have a curfew. You can't leave your house. It's really full on. So I thought, okay, I need to really get busy and keep myself busy. So what can I do that will help people? That's a pretty cheap product that, anyone can buy, anyone can
inexpensive,
use.
Not cheap.
Inexpensive. Well, I use the word inexpensive, but I'm so candid. The word cheap came out of my mouth. With class and sophistication. But no, So I wanted to design these cards based on the readings that I had done over the last 17 years, using the most common things that occur during readings. So I sort of sat down, and it just came to me like, okay, I wrote down random words. So like home, yes, no, things like that, like random words that popped into my head. And then I looked at the piece of paper. I think I wrote about 70 words altogether. And I started scratching words off. And I thought, no. And then I had a list of 56. And then I heard you need something with 11. Well, 5 plus 6 is 11. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, there you go. These are my 50. So I didn't change them. I literally left them as they were. So when I had my 56 cards, I then thought, okay, they all will have their own personality, their own character, because a pretty big personality has made them. So they all need a personality of their own. So I sort of sat down and I really thought about it very carefully. And I gave each card 3 descriptive words, like we would describe ourselves. Like, if someone asks you, tell me about you in 3 words, you might say, I'm passionate, I'm bubbly, and I'm loyal, right? So I gave each card 3 words. And then they became the keywords to each card. And then I categorized them in the chakras, because we obviously have the 7 chakras. So, but then what happened, and I'm telling you exactly how I made them, because there are 56, I put 7 in each 7 chakras. Well, there were 8 left, right? So, sorry, there were 7 left. There were 7 cards left.
So
and then I was thinking, exactly. That's what happened. So, look at that. Your psychic.
Quick question, Harry. A quick question for you. They're really well designed. Did you design these yourself? Did you have someone help you with these designs?
Yes,
because
so they were
pretty incredible.
Thank you very much. Well, I had a publisher that published them for me, and I was on top of the whole process from start to finish. So I'm a little bit OCD. So because I knew that,
We're
because I
along
knew
so well.
I know we already do. We're
ones here. Look.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It's really great.
Thank you so much, James. I'm so grateful.
We have a booklet that describes how to do the spreads.
Exactly.
Because there's a lot going on, and I think they're really incredible. And you can you just feel the energy of each one. The energy. Passion for each one. You really, it's really, and then it's inexpensive, but it's you feel the passion of each one.
Yeah.
I know, I do cards.
Thank
you feel them. It's not like your regular. You do feel each card.
Yeah. You do. You really do, and that's what I wanted. I really wanted that. And so I infused them all with that energy. And the book, like you just showed, I wrote start to finish every letter. And thank you. So in there, it describes all of the cards individually, as well as how to read them in different ways. So they're really special. And it's almost like having me in a box.
Don't put yourself in a box, Harry. You can't put yourself in a box, Harry. There's not a box for you, Harry.
I love you.
I love that. Even my 5'6", I'm not going to fit in a box.
5'5".
Yeah,
we'll go together. We'll go together in storage. There you go.
Yeah, storage. I love it.
Gosh. And I just want to say, if anybody has any questions for the audience, for everybody, general questions about mediumship or psychic ability, please write them in the comments, and we will see what we can get to.
Really cool cards. Really new beginnings. Fabulous. Birth, emerging, rejuvenation. Pretty fabulous.
Oh yeah.
Spirit world. Great.
Oh Lord.
I loved 1111. I love this one because so many people see this.
Reference to the numbers that are here. Does that have anything, or just that the number of the card, or does that have a meaning to it?
Well, the number. Okay, so the numbers actually helped categorize the chakras. So it was almost like the seven, like 7 in each 7. And then the remaining 7, I couldn't put them in any chakra. So they made their own rainbow group, right?
Great.
Which is amazing. It just worked. But the numbers I have found when I've been using them, the numbers actually tell me things as well. So sometimes I'll pull a card and it'll be the card 33. And I did this with you, Kellee.
Right.
Do you remember? Like things like that. So, or 22 or whatever. And the person will be 33 years old.
Wow.
Or like random things like that. So I found the numbers are relevant. And you know what I've noticed about the cards as well? The card literally matches every single person that they pulled for. So whether it's about the specific chakra that's pulled up. So let's just pretend the forgiveness card comes out, and that's in the green group, which is the heart chakra. The person might be struggling with their heart chakra. So already just with one card, I know the heart chakra is the area of concern. The forgiveness is the message. And just whatever triggers from that card. So whether it's the one particular keyword, so of the 3 bottom words, maybe one will strike my attention and I'll think, okay, that word is more important for them, you know? Yeah. Hey guys, I just noticed.
I love the colors too.
Well, we're all wearing blue, guys.
There you go.
We're all matching. Isn't that crazy?
Perfect. It's perfect.
We are all crazy, so there you go.
And Margaret says, Harry, how can someone know that they try to be a medium, that they can try to be a medium or a psychic as an empath?
Okay, well, that's a great question. I think you will know if you're a medium pretty early on in your life. Some people experience it later on because of, you know, a tragedy or something that's happened, but you'll know it. It's something that you'll know. And if you're an empath, you feel other people's emotions. So if someone is crying, you might feel like you want to cry as well. So that's how you'll know you're an empath. To know you're a psychic, you can, you know who's ringing on the phone, or you might get a gut feeling about something, or you might think something that's not in your logical mind. It's almost like knowing without knowing. I think that's the best way to explain being psychic. And the medium, you can sense spirit, or you might see them, you might hear them. It's different. But all of those 3 things are very different abilities. So I think that's a good question, because some people think if you're psychic, you're a medium as well, and you're not. They're 2 very different things. And people like us, all 3 of us, we can do all sorts. Just not that we want to do it, just we can. But some people out there are incredible psychics, but they're not mediums.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true. I had one interesting question here for you.
There are several interesting questions.
Oh, great.
There's a question that says, I know you are spiritual. And does the other side ever talk about Christ and God and the stories of the Bible?
Oh, I
never
love
had that question. Yeah.
Great.
I love that. Well, I mean, I'm happy to answer that one. So I was raised, I suppose, you know, I mean, I'm Armenian descent. So we are the first country in the world to adopt Christianity. So I was raised with Christian. Yeah, well, there you go. So Armenia was the first country to adopt Christianity. So I was raised with Christian beliefs, and I believe in the Bible, and I absolutely believe in Jesus. I believe my gift is from God, but I don't believe in God as a bearded man judging people on a cloud. I believe God is like a universal consciousness made up of the highest possible power of love and light and all-knowing, omnipresent presence. Like, I believe that to be God. And I think that we are all fragments of that God. So I think it all actually complements each other. I don't think spirituality and religion should divide one another. It tends to do that, but that's man and women doing it. It's not it's not it's not the principles of it. True principles. I mean, the Bible is filled with people like us. Kellee, James, and myself are in the Bible, just not by name.
I think I was one of the apostles.
Yeah, probably. Oh, James, you've probably been many. Yeah, I love that.
Okay, so Kim Gresh says, Harry, can someone reawaken their spiritual abilities after suppressing them for so long?
Absolutely, you can. It's like a muscle, or even riding a bike. It's always there. You know, the more you exercise a muscle, the better it gets, the stronger it gets. But then it's like if you go to the gym, which I don't, it's like just saying, you get bigger and you exercise your muscle. If you stop going to the gym, okay, you might, lose a little bit of that mass, but you have muscle memory. So going back to the gym, it's just natural. So you can definitely regain your abilities because they're always there. It's like your senses. If you close your eyes, you can also open them again.
Harry, I have a question for you. What maybe 2 simple exercises, psychic exercises you can just tell people about, just simple little psychic exercises?
Yeah, okay. So I think the thing that really helped me was prayer and meditation. I mean, praying, which can also be an affirmation or an intention. So it doesn't need to be dogmatic. It can be something that you formulate that's very personal to you, that's simple, and easy. But I believe that prayer is talking to spirit or God or whatever you want to call it, higher power, consciousness, and meditation is listening. So I think that if you combine the two, your ability, that's like your metaphysical gym. So if you pray and meditate daily, your abilities will just naturally take over. And like my oracle cards say, the chakras that are our energy field, basically, it's within our energy centers. I believe that our psychic abilities comes from that as well because it's energetic. So if you align your chakras daily, so even just a visualization, which I've written in the book, visualize the 7 colors of the rainbow going, up and down your body. And you see them as like little spinning balls, almost like little spinning wheels, if you want to use that word. So red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So the 7 colors, and those colors, the visualization will help align your chakras, and then nature takes over.
Yeah, I love that. So there's another question. How do you come out of the spiritual closet and start sharing your light with others? Feels like confidence is a tricky one. Am I the only one in this place right now?
Well, I was born out of the closet, I think.
So I'm getting a martini.
Martini. Well, actually, it's more. So I've got a hug mug here with a cup of tea at the moment because it's morning. But
water.
Yeah, but if you want to come out of the spiritual closet, just open the door.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you, Harry, and say I could never see you in a closet, but I think you're right. I think the number one thing for people to get out of fear is to jump out of the box, to jump in a closet, be themselves. And I think it's I take my hat off to you and to everyone who are themselves, because when people try to live for somebody else and try to get acceptance from others, it's the wrong road. And you just put it yourself.
Yeah.
Be yourself. Everybody else is taken.
Yeah. Exactly what James said. Exactly what James said is so right, because, being yourself is the best way to be in this world. So if you're just your authentic self, the door automatically opens, and don't care what people think.
Right.
You know yourself better than anybody else. So if
what anyone thinks of you is none of your business.
Totally.
So Barbara Cole has a question. She says, Harry, do you have any world predictions for us now?
Oh, that's a great one.
Oh, that's a great one. I'm
writing them down.
Okay.
Okay. Can I mention something on that note? Yes. Kellee, I think you and I have discussed this before, but James might not know about it. And I just want to discuss it because it sort of got a lot of interest because of what happened. So in 2016, it was my first appearance on the Today Show before I became a regular. It was ever since then, really. I had to make global predictions for the world, I suppose. And I made celebrity predictions, royal predictions. And I predicted Prince Harry will marry at 33, 34, and he did, like all those years later. So things like that, right? But what
do you think of those two? Just saying.
Right. What? Yeah, exactly. You don't need to be psychic to know. But one of the predictions actually that I gave the producers was within 5 years. Now, this is 2016, remember? Okay, and this is all written in it's all written. So this wasn't like all these years later I said this. It was all written in black and white in the email. In 2016, the producers asked me to put predictions together, so I did. And one of them was within 5 years, there's going to be like a sickness that a lot of people will get sick. And I saw it being like the flu, and I could see many people dying. And then I wrote China. I wrote the country China. Wow. And then I said it's something to do with like taking over the world, or I saw the US sort of like taken over. And I remember the producer reading this saying, "Oh, Harry, that's so doom and gloom. Let's not air that." So we didn't air that. However, when COVID happened, the producer called me, because obviously now remember, I'm a regular on the show now, so they know me well, and they keep everything. So they pulled out the email and they read it to me. This was, I think, March 2020, right? And they said, "Do you remember 4 years ago?" Because this is 2020, so it was 4 years ago. You said all of this stuff, and I said, "I don't remember that." And then so she forwarded me the email, and I'm reading it, thinking, "Get out!" Like I said, in 5 years, people will get sick. They'll die of this illness that looked like the flu. The connection to China. The only word I didn't get was pandemic. Like, isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
So in some weird way, it's like it was there and I had certain access to that information, but it was limited because maybe I wasn't meant to know too much about it.
Right.
You know, but that's a true story. And so that happened. So moving forward in the world, predictions, I do see major changes still happening in the way the world is orchestrated. So I don't know why, but I feel like, you know how countries are very divided? I don't know when this is, because again, I can just see this. I'm not told it, I'm just seeing it. I can see a time when we are all sort of united, almost like more collective. So almost like not saying, well, you're from there and you're from there. I see it almost being like we're all earthlings or something, you know, like some weird thing. Like this could be much later in the future, but I can see that. And
I got to interrupt you, Harry, because I've seen that like zone A, zone B, zone C.
Correct. It's
right.
Yes.
It's like that's what zone A, zone B is.
What is that? I can see that. Like I can see that, you know, I can see that happening. But I also have this vision, and I don't know what this means, but I've always seen in the future, we are sort of wearing like metal, or we have like sort of metal, I don't know, but it's like I can see on people's legs, we have like this metal sort of thing on us. So almost like a clothing thing. I have no idea what it is or what it means. And I don't even know if we're going to be alive when this happens, but I can see sometime in the future, people wearing like this metal stuff. And I don't know why, if it's something to protect them from, I don't know, but I can see this like armor on people. And yeah, isn't that crazy? I can see that. And James said something before, and I agree with him when he was talking about earthquakes and natural disasters and things. I see that increasing because I see the world, like Mother Nature, trying to reorganize. You know? I see that. And I think it's going to naturally happen.
She's burping. She's burping.
She's burping. Yeah, I see that too. So I think that will happen. But you know, another prediction I'm going to share that I actually remember when I was about 6 years old, I used to say, I was like 6 and I used to say this. And if you look at COVID, you're seeing signs of this. I believe one day formal education will disappear and education from home will be a thing. I said this from when I was 6 years old, okay? With COVID, you know how people are getting homeschooled because they're not going to schools?
Sure.
I believe that that's like signs of what's to come, because I've always seen children learning from home. So when this happened as one of the consequences of COVID, I was so like, oh yeah, that's meant to happen. So it's almost like I felt like deja vu, because I always saw that. Yeah.
Wow. And TJ says, when the extraterrestrials finally come forward, humans will have to come together.
Yeah, you know, I think there's definitely life on other planets, and we as human beings probably haven't treated this Earth right. Have I ever shown you my ear?
No.
I beg your pardon.
I don't know if I can show you.
Here we go.
Look at my
I just met you.
Oh my God.
Look at my ear. Can you? I don't know if I'm sure.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes.
I have a pointed ear.
I gotta go now. Said he was weird, but not that weird.
What?
No, I was born with this ear, and isn't that
Really?
crazy? I was born with this.
You're not from here.
Ear.
Yeah.
No.
Starseed for sure.
Yeah. So I was literally probably from another planet.
And just one ear, not two. One ear, it's like that, not two, just one ear.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Mm-hmm. Harry T is a starseed. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just amazing. A lot of good comments here. Everybody's loving having you on tonight.
The ear.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Here we go. There's so many.
Oh, good.
So, let's see.
Well, I have a question for you, Harry, because I know a lot of people think that people in this work know each other, and like, I mean, I know John Edward, and I know and Lisa Williams, met them, but we don't hang out together. We all do our own thing. I mean, and same in Australia, and there's Mitchell Coombs down there. I know you probably know.
Oh yeah, Mitchell. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but you don't really hang out together. People think we all hang out together. We don't.
Right. No, we don't. And look, I used to hang out with I used to, but I don't anymore. But I think it naturally just happens that way. Like because we live very normal lives, like we aren't walking around talking to dead people all day. Right. So we live very normal. So yes, we all know each other. I know all of the above as well, and have been friends with pretty much nearly all of the above as well. But the point is, being spiritual doesn't mean that you have to hang out with other spiritual people. It's almost like just because you're Australian, you're friends with every Australian.
or every accountant knows every accountant.
It's not like that. But you know something though, like the two of you have this. You guys, whether you were psychics or mediums or not, you guys would have been like besties anyway.
Absolutely.
So, you know what I mean? So a friendship is built not on what you do and who you are. It's just there or not, and like if you try to make something happen, and I think that tends to happen a lot. And I'm guilty of that as well. When I was younger in my 20s, I was probably more impressionable and liked having that attention from someone I might have looked at thinking, oh, well, they're more famous or they're bigger. Like I'm in my 30s now and I really don't care about that. So you become more real and grounded. Yeah. And I think who's your real friend when problems happen.
Yeah.
And I can tell you in my life, when things are going good, everyone wants to know me. When things are going bad, I can count 5 people that are still there.
Yeah.
We've had this conversation many times.
We've had this many times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking at all these lovely comments.
Great comments for you here. Everybody is loving this. Let's see here.
Esther Jean said she was I'm Harry. I'm also Lebanese background, and I'm a psychic medium. My father was a spiritual healer also. He didn't teach me or know I would follow the path, but I remember reading Coffee Cups growing up. Did you ever read Coffee Cups?
Oh my God, that's so interesting that she said that. Yes, so Coffee Cups, I actually was on a TV show, I don't even want to talk about this, but I was on a reality show once and they got me to read Coffee Cups because it's in our culture. So in Armenian and Lebanese, in both sides, and I'm half-half, so both of the sides, we have coffee cup readings. My aunt Lottie, my father's aunt Loris, who I mentioned, who lives in Sherman Oaks in Los Angeles.
Know it very well.
Okay, yeah. So she reads Coffee Cups, and whenever I'm in LA, which obviously hasn't been for ages because of COVID, but I used to be there literally. I've never had a winter in Australia till recent. I used to be there every summer. We read each other's coffee cups. So it's like you see the symbols. It's like using oracle cards, but in the cup. You see symbols and it tells a story. And it's amazing. Like you see like older women doing it, like just after dinner, they all read their coffee cups. It's phenomenal and so accurate. So accurate. Yeah.
Wow. So Gina Marie says, can you give us some grounding techniques to get through this tough time of transition?
Yeah. Okay. So I believe, what I actually find helps physically. I don't know why. I live in a pretty big house, so I've got stairs. So I just sort of walk up and down the stairs And that really sort of centers me and grounds me. And I think it has something to do with my feet on the ground, literally. So it's like stomping on the ground or like walking on the ground. And because of lockdown, I'm not really able to go out. So I've found my stairs have helped me. So literally just going up and down the stairs to me, and I'm not doing this for exercise. I probably should, because, you know, I'm probably now no longer a medium, I'm large. Probably. Oh, thanks, COVID. But anyway, but I find the stairs really help ground me because my feet are touching the floor. So I think that's a very good physical technique. Or even just going out into your backyard and putting your feet actually on the ground really, really helps. But also your chakras, aligning your chakras is essential. Like just like having a shower every day. Like before I came on, I actually did have a shower. Like, you know, even though we looked down. Yeah, I know. Even just for the screen, I'm still having a shower. You know, it's like you do that every day. Well, you'd hope. You should wash your chakras every day too.
Yeah.
Kellee, do you find that different people do different things? Like some psychic people, there are certain techniques that they prefer or that feels they resonate with, and other psychics different grounding techniques?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, that's you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yes, I do. I think, yes. For me, what I do is I take my shoes off and I walk outside on the grass, and that really, really grounds me a lot. The other thing I do is I'll drink a really big glass of water and walk outside, and between the sun and looking at the plants and playing with my dogs, that's really grounding for me. Yeah. What do you do, James? Same?
I garden. I walk outside, same thing, with my dog. But yeah, sometimes I lie in the grass.
Oh, that's a good one.
Sometimes I climb a tree.
Oh, that's amazing. Do you know what? That's what James just shared is probably really practical, the lying on the grass part, maybe not the climbing the tree. but the lying on the grass is probably a very good one because you've got the earth and you've got the nature. I wish I could do that. I'm just so scared of bugs. So scared.
Oh, me too.
I'm so scared.
Me too.
Like, for real, I'm pretty sure in a past life I was killed by bugs. I don't know, but I'm just...
We're eaten alive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so Trisha Ford says, can you give any tips for us to get out of our own way when we're trying to pick up messages from spirit?
That's a great question.
Do you guys want to answer that, or do you?
James, you're on the hot seat.
Is it me? Is it me? I feel like
all the time. Now it's
okay, great. Okay, so how to get out of their own way? Is that what they want to know?
Yeah, like let's say doing psychic readings or mediumship.
Okay.
They need to get out of
you know what? Yeah, that's a good question. That's the ego. So for example, we all have ego. Everyone. Some people's is bigger than others, obviously, but everyone has an ego. You need it to survive in this world. But when you do this work, and it's like when I do a reading, I'm very different. Like you have to be very different because when it comes from your ego, it's just not going to be pure. It needs to come from the other side of the brain. It's almost like it needs to come from the right side of the brain. Completely. And you need to be a conduit. So it's almost like just keep in check. It's not coming from you. It's coming through you. You know, it's not, you don't know it necessarily. You're just being used by spirit to relay the message and then let it go. You know, I'm going to say this. James, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this lady or Kellee. I'm not sure. I think I might have mentioned her to you once. There was a woman that I met when I was very young. And she told me a lot of things. One, she was amazing at what we do, but she told me a lot of spiritual principles. Like I remember in her kitchen, we would sit and we would have, some cups of tea, and she loved socializing. She was a much older lady. I met her when I was in my early 20s. She was in her late 70s. She's retired now. And I messaged her daughter just recently to check in on her. She's in assisted living now. But her name was Anne Gaiman. Have you ever heard of her?
Anne Gaiman. I have heard of Anne Gaiman. American.
Okay. Yes, American lady. American. So
I know Anne Gaiman. I did a show with Anne Gaiman.
No way.
Yeah, I did a show with Anne Gaiman called The Other Side back in the early 90s.
Are you kidding?
Did she live in Florida?
Yes.
Yeah, I worked with Anne. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah. So she was an older lady who she wasn't, I wouldn't say she was well known like James is, but she was very, very good and very spiritual.
Very good.
So I was, lucky to meet her when I was very young. I was in a place, and my cousin and I just stumbled upon her, and she looked at me and she said, "You're very special." And again, like another woman that said that, and I didn't really know much about her, so I contacted her for a reading after that. So I had a reading with her. She blew my mind, right? Blew my mind. Okay. And she was in her 70s. I would think I was like 20, like I was young. Okay. And what would I want to know at 20, right? But she was amazing. Okay. She told me all these things that happened, and she knew my mother had passed. She was incredible. Anyway, after that reading with her, I would see her maybe like once a year at her house just to visit. Like I would, because I was always in the States, and she loved socializing, and she loved, I was young, right? And she started this work very young. So she used to say to me, like, I see myself in you because you're so young doing this. And she said, the only thing with you is you're going to go and be famous. She never wanted that. She told me she didn't want fame. And I believe that, because she could have easily had it, because she was amazing, Kellee. Amazing.
She was on that show the other side with me and Sylvia Brown, and she was actually better than Sylvia Brown.
She was amazing.
And Gaiman was really. She would also do body finding. She'd find bodies.
She told me things, and I hope I can share this. She told me she worked on the Ted Bundy case.
She did.
And she read for Nancy Reagan. So
that's right.
Like
that's exactly
all these things about her, and I'm giving her credit too, even though she's retired, and I messaged her daughter the other day just to check in on her. I just feel like people don't really know about her, and she honestly changed my life because she told me things. Like she always said, she always used to say to me, Harry, you're special, your gift is powerful, but don't let other people take advantage of you. Don't get carried away with showmanship, because my personality, like I'm a big character, right?
No.
And she was a very classy old lady, right?
Like very down to earth.
Like, and I would go there in like fluorescent colors and like just, be totally like out there.
No.
But she would say things to me, and I would listen to her because I respected her like a grandmother almost, right? And her husband passed away, and then I lost touch with her after that. I think I saw her once after that, and I remember her lights flickering, and she looked up at it in front of me and said, "Oh, wait." Like I remember that. And that was the last time I saw her. It was many years ago. And like all these years later, like I'm on the Today Show, I've been on Larry King, and she said all of these things to me before it was even in the pipeline. So
did you ever go, Harry? She was also used to go to Lilydale a lot. Did you ever go to visit in Lilydale?
That's where I used to see her yearly, because after I met her,
have a house there. Yes,
we had a house there, and she used to say, "Look, I'm here between these months. If you're ever in town," and she used to love a bit of. I don't want to say the word gossip, but she used to love talk. Like she used to love it. And obviously me, I'm so candid. I love talking too. So she honestly, credit to her, because she told me a lot of things on spiritual principles that I will never forget. And they were just in her kitchen, just talking. So
what is one of them that she?
Yeah, somebody just asked that question. Yes.
Okay, one of the spiritual principles is, it's pretty basic, but respect this gift and only do to others that you would have done to you. And she used to always say that to me. And something she used to always say, let the ego go and let God take over. That sentence.
That's it. Yeah.
She said that to me every time I saw her. So I probably saw her 6 or 7 times in my life, but again, because it was just yearly, I can't say there was a friendship, because she was in her 70s, I was in my 20s, but when I was in town, I would see her. And she used to always say to me, I remember, she would take me out to her porch, and she would say, remember, Harry, let the ego go and let God take over. And I remember once she told my cousin, Harry is very special, just watch him. So it was almost like she was telling me, God has given you this gift, use it, you're going to be famous, but don't let it get to you. And I'm telling you guys, those words, they ring in my head. Whenever I sort of get carried away, I think of that lady. And that's why I messaged her daughter the other day, and I said to her, look, I hope your mum's okay. I know she's retired and she's in assisted living. And I sent photos of us together just to, just keep her. And she said, thank you so much for reaching out and passed on the good wishes. But seriously, you know what? I think it's important to share that, because, people watch this and they think that everything's very easy in this life. And it's not. People like Anne, people like James, you guys changed the world for us. So thank you.
You're welcome. I love that along that same line that Ann said. I always like the one: use it, don't abuse it.
Use it. Oh, I love that.
You can use that.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, but I won't abuse it.
Don't abuse it.
But I won't abuse it.
It's the same thing, but it's a little, contemporary now. Use it, don't abuse it. So true.
That's true. Let the ego go. Let God take over. She used to say that to me every single time. Yep.
Wow. I love this coincidence that you both knew her. I think that's amazing. It's amazing.
I didn't know that because she wasn't publicly known. Like she was a spiritual person.
Well, I met her at the other side, an NBC show, and then I met her up in Lilydale because I did Lilydale every year, and I met Lilydale her up there and up there. I think I even had a reading with her in Lilydale once. And,
amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
It must be her 80s now. It's got to be in her 80s.
Oh, late 80s and retired and living in. But you know what? She's changed a lot of people's lives that people probably don't even know. Yeah,
there are so many people out there. I mean, thousands and hundreds of thousands. The psychics and mediums all over the world, but we're in the public eye, but there's so many more not that are doing the work. Yeah,
they really are.
Here's a question from Nicole. She says, how do you actually figure out, is it spirit coming through and yourself, or is it your own voice coming that you hear?
Oh, that's a great question.
How does that work for you, Harry? How would you describe that?
You know, I love that James just reiterated that question because he knows like I'm so in my head. Okay, psychic, you're amazing. So for me, I distinguish the two as I become aware of my own thoughts. So becoming aware, knowing yourself, spending time with yourself is the best way to do this because I know when I'm being paranoid or when I'm obsessing. I know when it's my thoughts. When it's intuition or spirit, it pops into your head. You're not thinking about it. It's effortless. It's not like you've planted it and it's grown. It's just boom, downloaded.
Yeah, good description. Yeah.
So that's the way to do it because sometimes because like of my gift, sometimes I mix them. I can mix them, and then I think, okay, take a breath, and just what is it? Is it you obsessing or is it coming to you? And 9 times out of 10, I'm obsessing. But when it's the intuition, when it's spirit, it's just there. I don't have to think about it.
Harry, why do you obsess?
Oh, I'm OCD. I'm a Gemini. I had a pretty hard life and probably look back, think, you know what? If I had this thick skin now, it would be very different back then.
Do you worry? Like, do you worry about like giving a reading, some of that, getting this right? Am I not getting this right?
Oh no, I don't ever worry about readings. I worry about my personal life. Because
stand in line,
Actually, you know what's actually funny? When I do readings for clients, say it's an hour with them, because I'm out and my ego is out, I feel like I'm meditating for a full hour because nothing of my stuff is there. It's great. So I do a great reading for the client, but what they don't know is for me, I have an hour of peace. and I think that's why also I'm able to deliver messages that might be heavy, but not get affected by it because I'm not emotionally bound to it. So detaching from the emotion and just being like a reporter. Think of a news reporter. I'm just giving a report. And that's how I give my readings. And then after the reading, I've done a good job. I never obsess about the readings because then that's ego. But in your personal life, if you're in your head like I am, you need to separate the two. Get to know your thoughts and let intuition come to you. It really makes a difference.
Now, let me ask you, speaking about that, if you don't mind me asking you, how do you find, just curious, people ask me this question, I'm not sure I know how to answer it. How can you separate your personal life from the working life? Like, because everyone thinks, oh, we go out when you see dead people. It doesn't happen. But do you find that people might be attracted to you? Sometimes because you're on television, it's happened to me a lot.
Right.
Someone looks at you and you think they're attracted to you, then you find out it's just because they recognize you. But what would the perfect mate be for you? Would it be someone who doesn't know nothing about this world, or someone
that does?
That's a good question.
Yeah. No, I think it's the less they know, the better.
I agree.
Totally.
The less they know, the better. You know why? Because then it's a clean slate. When you meet someone relationship-wise or friendship-wise or whatever, you don't want them to have an agenda. And guys, so many people have agendas. And I've learned that with I suppose a little bit of age, but I think detaching from agenda, because when you do this work, everyone's going to want to be your friend. But create boundaries. You know what I do? I have a few close friends that I'm there 24/7 for because they're there for me 24/7. Okay. So if I need their help, they're there. So if they need my help psychically, I'm there. Okay. But my extended friendship group, if I'm not going to call you at 2:00 in the morning and tell you something, don't call me at 2:00 in the morning and ask me for a reading. I create very strong boundaries with people.
Yeah.
And you need to. And you know what? I used to have a problem saying no. I use the word no so often now. Like,
we learned that right,
yeah.
You guys have done it before me, and I wish I had known you then. But saying no really will help you, and it'll weed out the true people in your life as well.
Yeah.
Hey, a quick question from this lucky star lady person, but it's a good, interesting question. She's a medium, and she's lost a lot of people around her. Okay. And she said, does that happen to mediums? Now, Harry, what's your take on that?
That's a really good question. Okay. And I believe the answer for me is yes, because my mother passed away when I was 14. Right. So it gave me life experience to deal with loss at such a young age. Okay. So I think life gives you experiences so you can build some form of empathy and compassion. Because of my personal loss, I'm probably a little bit more sensitive to the subject matter, as opposed to if I had never lost anyone, I probably wouldn't know how it feels. So I wouldn't get that person. So I think,
Yes, I think you're right. I think that's part. I think it's part. I also think, obviously, your mother's a guide of yours.
Yeah.
And what happens a lot for people is when someone passes over, they do become their guides, or many times they help them from the other side of life. So being a medium like Lucky Star, maybe that's her spiritual team, and they're moving on to be a spiritual team. Maybe they help from that point of view. What do you think, Kel?
Oh yeah, no, I think that too. And I didn't have as many losses, Harry, when I was younger, but I think for some reason I had to go through a lot of other experiences, and I had a lot of empathy, and then I started having the great losses. It was interesting how it worked out.
You're a therapist, Kellee, also.
And I'm also, I'm a psychotherapist as well.
But Kellee, all your experiences, as you would know better than I, grief comes in different things. It's not just physical death.
Yeah.
So I think certain experiences, loss teaches you a lot, no matter what sort of loss it is.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And trauma teaches us a lot.
Yeah.
And this is a place for, this is a school to learn it.
Oh, please.
Listen, with you two, I think I need to start watching the show just for my own sanity.
Seriously? Oh my gosh. So people are asking how to get your cards, because everybody wants to order your Energies of the Soul. Everybody wants to order them.
Thank you.
They're really cool. They're real. I've never seen cards like these before, and I've seen a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting how you have those. Number one, the chakras. Two, you have the words, which are really incredible. The numbers. The symbols. I mean, talk about stuff pops off the card. Look at your creativity. The communication. Look at that.
Thank you.
Really well done.
Thank you very much.
Hello, grounding. Duh.
Yeah,
they're really great, Harry. Really
I'm so grateful. I'm very grateful. So yes, the cards can be purchased. So in Australia, they can be purchased on booktopia.com.au. And worldwide, they can be purchased on bookdepository.com. I think they were on Amazon, but something happened. There was a glitch. I'm not really sure what happened, but if they just go to my website, harrytofficial.com, they can see all the links to get the cards.
Oh, that's probably the best way. harrytofficial.com. That's the best way, I think, probably, Harry.
Yeah, because
that's the best way.
Perfect. Oh my gosh. And now, James, you have coming up Mediumship 2. You still have a few spaces left.
Yeah, a few spaces left, and the first 50 people that sign up, of course, gets an evening of spirit messages we're going to do. So for them to sign up, we have 1 week left, and then it's closed.
Okay, great.
And what do you have, Kel?
I have Roots of Healing Part 2 coming up September 25th, and if you sign up in the next 24 hours, you get 15% off. So please join us.
We have such a hard time promoting our stuff, Harry. I know, but you have a hard time.
It's funny.
It doesn't work for me.
It's funny you said that. You know what? When I heard Kellee, you introducing me, I was cringing only because I get it. Like I get that's my thing, and everyone needs to know that, and I get it. But if you ask me, like I would so struggle saying that. Like oh my god, I was thinking to myself, oh my god, like I have done all that, but it's so confronting to me.
I understand that one. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, Harry takes longer than the content of the show.
Well, thank you so much, Harry, for being on the show tonight. You're just a doll. We'll have to have you back again.
Very sweet. Thank you so much.
I'm really so grateful. You guys are amazing. I'd love to come back. I would love that.
Yeah, I'd love to have you back.
And don't hang up, Harry, when we leave.
Okay.
Stay on.
I'll stay on.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks James. Everyone. Love you.
Thanks,
Renee. Bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
The James and Kellee Show.